All right. Okay, let's go ahead and kick this off. Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to Play It Painted Live. Hope you guys are having a good Sunday evening, and here we go with another one of these. So tonight we're going to be working on some Godtear, and this may not be the most interesting stream I've ever done, mainly because this is really the first bit of prep I do right after I pull them out of the box. So we're working on 2 warbands tonight. We're going to prep, and the goal is to prep them both, get them all queued up. Now I won't be painting them. When it comes to painting, I am going to paint the warbands one at a time, so I'll run a separate setup for each warband. But steps like these, the prep and priming, you can do all this. You can batch all this together. Okay. So right now I'm using a product called Vallejo Ground Texture Acrylic Sand, and this is a great little product. You may have noticed in the past I used a pumice type mixture, but I'm really preferring this sand lately. So you can see it just goes on a lot smoother and a lot more even, and you can really put on a nice thin film that doesn't look too, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not going to look too textured when all is said and done, right? Sometimes the pumice looks great. Sometimes it's too textured. I was finding myself spreading it thinner and thinner and thinner, and finally I decided to try out this product, and this product's just a little easier to work with. Now I believe this product does take a little bit longer to dry versus the pumice, but it's a small price to pay when you have, right, see how like I can really get precise and get it right where I want it to go. All right. So, like I said, not going to be the most interesting stream I've done, but you know, we're here for the chat. We're here to talk. If you guys want to hop on the Discord, ask me questions about games, give me any comments, any feedback you may have on miniature hobby, or you can come on and, you know, issue idle threats. I don't think you are allowed to threaten people over the internet, but you can threaten to like destroy me in a miniatures game, right? You can threaten to beat me in whatever your miniature game is of choice. Heads up, Nelson. Let me refresh this comment so we can see it. There we go. Whoa. Batman looked really fun today. Batman is very fun. I forgot how fun, like how the game really just gets to pure enjoyment right out of the gate, right? Turn 1 Batman can be just as exciting as any other game's turn 2 or 3. That's how cool Batman is, right? You need to start scoring right out of the gate, and Batman, it really does, in my opinion, it really does like cut a lot of the nonsense out of other games that take longer to set up, and you know, and it really just cuts down to like what is really nice about playing these like tactical miniature games, these objective-based miniature games. Batman does it very, very, very well. And I kept thinking about this too as I was sort of comparing the different crews. And with the different crews, you're playing your playstyle, kind of like Malifaux, but it's not terribly prohibitive the way Malifaux is, right? You're still out there to score your points, you know, and the objective deck set is just one of the best things in my opinion. Speaking of which, if you hear a toddler in the background, Hey, what's up, Nick? If you hear a toddler in the background, it is because there is a toddler in the background. My 4-year-old is up and he's hanging out back here, so you may hear him occasionally. So I just kicked the camera on. We're just gonna see how this goes. But yeah, I will say that I really do wish that that the game was just more accessible locally, because I think we could get a lot of people to play it. But I will get I think I will be able to get some of the I have the mind to teach Thomas some of the Comic Quest staff. I want to teach Thomas specifically how to play. I think he would really enjoy it. And I just think there's a really nice potential to play this game and get a nice tactical yet convenient experience about it, right? It's like we were comparing it to Malifaux, so it's like Malifaux without the parts that that casual players don't like about Malifaux, right? What do casual players don't like about Malifaux? Well, game length can be in the 3-hour neighborhood. That's kind of bad. The duel mechanic, while super cool, really can get cumbersome and time consuming, and decision making within like performing duels and attacks and that kind of stuff gets pretty intensive in Malifaux. So you end up with a very crunchy game, whereas Batman Miniatures game is really about speed, and it's about figuring out what objectives you can achieve and how to achieve them, and doing it faster than your opponent. I think that's the only way I can put that, is you really are rewarded for trying to score as quickly and as often as you can. And so you end up with this very fun kind of tactical experience, and you get to play a nice, like, flavorful cruise. You still get a nice immersive experience out of it. The games, they're 4-turn games, so you may be done in the space of an hour. I think that's fairly common for at least my experience, is that you're done in like the space of an hour. So it itches a lot of the same scratches that Malifaux does, and but at a fraction of the time and the brain bandwidth. That makes sense. Now, I think both games still have their place, right? If you really want to play an intense game with a super thematic playstyle, Malifaux is where it's at. You just will not, as fun as Batman is, you will never ever get the types of playstyles you can get out of playing a game of Malifaux. So yeah, I mean, I was super happy to play it again today, and I'm looking forward to playing some more. And I'm looking forward to playing my Riddler crew. Probably take a couple of weeks for the Riddler crew to get here, but in the meantime, I still have a few crews for Batman I can play. Today I played Watchmen, which was super fun. But I can also play Doom Patrol. I can also play Birds of Prey, and then League of Assassins and I also have a Soldiers of Fortune team that I can play, which is kind of cool. Okay. So this one's easy. You just use it to fill out the rest of this. So what's going on with you guys? Nick, what's going on with you, buddy? What are you playing lately? Or painting or both. All right. Right. So just give that a little bit of texture there. And we're going to let these dry, but while they're drying, we're going to prep our stands for them. I also, on this desk, I have my new paint rack installed. You can hear it. You can hear me turn it. It's super nice, and it holds, I don't know, I guess I would call that a quarter of my paints. But yeah, it's nice. I like it because it's I'm kind of sentimental. It's kind of a piece of Comic Quest history that I have. So, you know, this idea that some of my favorite people that I ever met, I met while browsing the paints on the rack and by buying the paints that I'm using to paint these minis, right? So, kind of cool that that's home with me, you know. Better than any paint trophy that I may have won or anything like that. All right. Speaking of which, I just found I'm going to want to put this Turbo Dork paint in here. See if it'll fit. Ooh. Yeah, okay. It just barely fits in there. Okay. And let's start doing the rest of these. Right, so just some blue tack. Right, we'll take care of that. But yeah, let me know what you guys are up to. And Nelson, hopefully we can get you onto the table for some Batman soon. I'm going to try to finish these up for you this week. That way, well, I don't want to curse myself, but the idea is I kind of want to get these done in time for miniature night at CQ, so that we can meet up during a miniatures night. Maybe I can sneak in a game. Sneak in a game of Batman. Maybe I could do that. All right. Funny little aside, I have these Bane minions that have been on my desk literally for years that I should paint up at some point. They've just been sitting here. I don't really want to play Bane, but paint it, I guess. Kind of like drugs, right? Drugs just shit sitting on my drugs. I was playing Jacob Lynch Crew, which I feel bad because both times so far, both times I've played Lynch Crew, it has not been, we'll say, the most entertaining games for me or my opponent. Although the last one for me, I will admit, that was still entertaining for me to drop all the drugs. But not so much for my opponent, because it can be, I can see why, walking into that crew and trying to fight your way out of it is kind of not going to be fun for you. All right. think I can paint. I think the interesting thing about this is, despite the fact that the orc set here is more models, it will probably paint a lot faster than the dragon set, because you just got a lot more detail to worry about with the dragons. Yeah, so much drugs. Thanks. It really was. It really was an excessive amount of drugs going on there. But I mean, that's the crew, right? And I was playing the crew and learning how to exploit that mechanic as best as I could, and yeah, we learned a lot. We learned a lot about that crew. But I think the central theme is the same, right? Whether you're playing Malifaux or Batman, yeah, these crews are gonna be annoying to deal with. They're gonna feel prohibitive to deal with, but just stick to your plan. You know, paint, go for your schemes, try to score. Right? In my opinion, when you're playing these games, actions that you play should all be related to scoring, as much as possible. If something, if you have the chance to kill a model, you need to ask yourself, okay, does this help with the victory points at all? Right? Does this either put victory points on the table for me, or does it remove victory points for my opponent, or remove their ability to score victory points? That's how you kind of make those decisions in both games, which is great. All right. Ooh, that's... All right. So, okay. So I think what I want to do here is, I guess we could do... I guess I could do a full Zenithal. Should I do a full Zenithal? Or just gray to white? I think I should do black to white. I think that's what I should do. I thought I had a brand new set. Oh, I do. I have some black Stynylrez. Res. This stuff is liquid gold. But let's prime everything while we're here. Oh, you gotta take that out. Yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions, comments, or threats. We are working on some Godtear tonight. All right. Using the 0.3 needle tonight, which is a little unusual for me. I'm used to using a 0.2, but we're gonna go 0.3 tonight. See how nice that texture is? That sand texture? And it's much nicer to apply than pumice. You see with these orcs kind of being a dark tone. Black may be the best starting point for a prime on these. Either that or like I actually have a green Stynylrez primer that would have worked pretty well too, but this is kind of nice. Yeah, let's shoot all these. So you really got to make sure you've got it in all the little nooks and crannies because of the yellow, right? You don't want any of that yellow showing through, so. Okay. You still have lots of yellow showing through. Just weird angles on this. Okay. Am I safe to assume that you want these painted like Urukai? Right, darker armor, slightly darker green skin, and the war paint. No, I've never seen Black Mirror. I know people talk about it all the time, but I never watched Black Mirror. This guy's basically hanging right off the base. The warband's supposed to kill minions after all, so yeah, okay. Alright. Let me clean out the channel here a little bit. Well, this needs to go back in here. Okay. So, with primer, you do want to clean the well out while you're doing this like extended priming. Whoa. That way you don't get skins or loose particles stuck in the chamber that could clog your airbrush. So clean often. Alright. So black will be the gist of this, and then I'll hit gray, and then finally some white. We'll do some white ink at the end. Whoa, got a little water mixed in here. Oh, that's gonna be. This guy's got kind of annoying angles in his sculpt, so it's gonna be a little bit annoying to paint this guy. Hey, what's up, Sean? How you doing, man? I know you did some Bushido today. That was cool. All right. So I don't know if Jason's gonna hop on. I don't think he is. I think he's busy. But You know, Nelson, I was talking about, tonight I was talking to my wife about, you know, what we did today, playing Batman, and I mentioned to her that, you know, Chris and some people are going to LVO, and you know, one of the things I wanted to do was help them get ready for it. And she asked me if I'm interested in going, and I said, yeah, actually I am interested in going. I haven't gone to a gaming convention in years. And even though, you know, Batman is probably a third or fourth string game for me, I want to go down because there's so many of like our friends that are going down. And I was like, that would be kind of a cool goal for us, right? To go down to LVO and play some Batman. I would love to do that, and I guess I'm putting it out there to the locals here. Who would like to go with me, right? Who wants to go to LVO with me? My plan is to leave at the crack of dawn, the Friday of LVO, right? Leave at the crack of dawn, Friday at LVO. Get a hotel for one night. Hey, what's up, Michael? It's a good evening, yes, sir. So we're talking about LVO, Michael, and since, you know, we've got some friends that are going to be playing Batman at LVO, and I haven't been to a gaming convention in some time, I was talking with my wife and said, hey, maybe we could go, right? Maybe I could go to LVO. So my plan, again, get up at the crack of dawn on Friday, drive to Vegas, get there in time for the maybe Friday Vallejo event. It's a casual event, so that would be fun. So I would play in the Vallejo casual event, and then Saturday I would play in the Batman tourney, and then drive back Saturday night. I would drive back, yeah. So that's because I want to be home now. That's the one thing I want to be home for my family on Sunday. So that would be the plan. So if anyone is interested in abiding that kind of crazy schedule, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just meet you down there. But yeah, so we're going to bone up on some Batman, because that's what we're going to play. I'll play, like I said, I'll play some casual Vallejo on the Friday. I may even buy my tickets tonight. We'll see. Evening, peeps. Just saw you streaming. Finish your Pringle Can Mage Towers terrain. Good to see you too, DJ Ghostman. How you doing, buddy? But yeah, that's the idea. If anyone is interested, it is end of January 2022. So I'm gonna just hope I can have that time off. Hopefully nothing critical from the company's perspective is going on. You stay all weekend and go drinking to fight. Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, if you want to go and you want to do the whole weekend, feel free, and I'll just meet you down there. All right. All right. So this cruise, they've got all the black down for them. Yeah, I've never. Fun fact: I've never been to LVO myself. I've never gone. Back in the day when they were just starting up, they asked me to go down there for Malifaux, and I couldn't make it happen. All right. Let's see. Doing well. How's the family and your viewers? Yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah, we're doing okay. But yeah, that's show up in suits. We were talking with my wife, and we were like, in our younger days, we did like going to Vegas. But, well, when we talked tonight, she's like, yeah, I'm not interested in going to Vegas, though. The only flaw with my plan would be if I'm too tired after the Batman tourney to drive home. But I don't think I'd be. I think I'd be good to go. You always wanted to go, but I need to figure that out. Just finished painting the girl from that set in Pride and the Dragon, well, in black. Well, yeah, I'm gonna do a few undercoats here before we settle. Ooh. All right. Quick clean out here. Still have the main dragon to paint from Epic Encounters. These models are really nice. Speaking of which, I don't know if you guys know this, but I do have a paint day. I am hosting paint day at the shop this coming Saturday. We're painting the Dire Troll from the WizKids set. So that, it's the Dire Troll. It's really cool. It's kind of like a multi-headed, multi-armed troll. All right. Got a little bit of skins in this that I do not want to shoot through, so try to get rid of all of that. Okay, it's not bad. Alright. It's a problem with prolonged, if you're shooting primer for long periods of time through your airbrush, you don't want to get skins firing through there. I'm in Mass, so I don't know if I can make... Oh, you're in Massachusetts, yeah. Oh, you're working this Saturday? Yeah, you can come by. Just swing by afterwards. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, paint days, normally I just go... I'm normally there to just help people prime their minis, and then... I don't know if I'm going to bring my son this time, because... Last time he had a lot of fun, but he really tired out at the end there. So I'm going to recommend to him not to go, but if he feels strongly enough about it, he can go. Really trying to get all these pieces underneath. Pretty good. So yeah, these are going to be like the Game of Thrones dragons. Really? Alright. Alright. Question. Are there any other gaming hobby conventions? Yes, there's Strategicon Gateway that's happening Labor Day weekend. That's the next one that happens in LA by LAX. It's like at the LAX Hilton, in fact. That is the next one. Not my favorite convention. To me, it might be because I've gone too many times or whatever to that one, but it's always like the same stuff. So to me, it's like, this doesn't count as a convention. I'm not doing anything that's really outside of the norm here. I guess it's a good convention if you like playing like RPGs and board games, but the miniature side hasn't been great down there for a while, I guess. So do with that what you want. Yeah, that's been there for, yeah, Strategicon has been around for a very, very, very long time. It really isn't new, and that's one of my criticisms of it, is it's like that convention needs new life, and it's hard to do that based on some of the rooted personalities there, and the overall, sometimes conventions they kind of take on a personality of their, like they kind of have their own sort of culture and their own kind of unique atmosphere. Kingdom Con was was a unique convention because it took on that sort of, hey, we're here to have a good time, and it's almost like the biggest garage party for gamer nerds ever. That's how I would call Kingdom Con. And if I'm going to use that analogy, I would call Strategicon like the garage down the street that's got the old neighbor, you know, that likes to go fishing and doesn't wear underwear under his shorts, and he's a little creepy. And he likes to look at the young girls in the neighborhood. That's how kind of I would, and I guess I should say, I'm not trying to say that Strategicon is like creepy in that sense, but it just gives off this sort of older, tired man, maybe slightly creepy vibe from some of the folks that are there. Alright. And the last one. But yeah, I don't know. Strategicon could be fun, but what I noticed about Strategicon is the fun I had there was with people that I brought to that con and games that I brought to that con. So I'm like, it's okay. You just do this at home. Right? The idea of going to a convention is this idea that you can meet, meet new and cool, interesting people, and Strategicon just doesn't lend itself to that. Like, people will come up and try your game and ask you about it and that sort of thing, but they're not. One, it's very hard to find people that are not, because, oh my god, okay, I'll put it to you this way. Alright, people that go to Strategicon, they fill their suitcases full of chips and snacks and that sort of thing, and it's like, and their suitcases are, sometimes they're like fishing tackle boxes, sometimes they're just grocery bags, and I'm not trying to be like mean here, but these are not the sort of folks that you could talk into buying a brand new miniatures game, stopping to paint everything, assemble it, and then wanting to play. These aren't your type of folks. These are what you would call value-minded gamer folks that are looking for the cheap. They're gonna go up and play your demo, almost like they're just taking a sample right out of the at the grocery store, at the Costco. They're not going to play. They're not. You're not going to get people. And this is my experience of going to that con probably well over a dozen times. You're not going to get the sort of new player excited. Let's buy starter sets. Let's start a meta. You're not going to get people like that at Strategicon, because Strategicon has like the same 30 to 40 people that it's always had for like over a decade, and they are old and they're not going to spend any money, and they and they're not going to, they don't want to play anything new that isn't like a board game or an RPG or something like that. Miniature games are just they find miniature games to be too expensive. You also have, that said, you do have a active 40K community that regularly throws stuff at Strategicon, but they're not the most fun people to hang out with. So, I don't know. Pick your poison. I mean, maybe I'm being horribly judgmental. I'm okay with that. I can accept that. But yeah. So you tell me there's a guy that has half-painted models saying, you want to buy these? Sort of. It's just like, you know what I mean? It's like, imagine that uncle that just liked to go fishing all the time and wore the same pair of shorts for 3 weeks and, uh, you know, looked at the young girls walking down the street and just gawked at them, and his head would turn the whole way through. That's like the living embodiment of Strategicon. It's like that same familiar. Oh man, I'm with my uncle the hoarder. I'm, and I just wish it wasn't that. But in order for it to not be that, you would have to clean house, right? You would actually have to be like, okay, you know, there's gonna be a hygiene code, and you can't just like, right? They would have to somehow inject a little prestige into that convention, right? Like, oh, this is a big deal. Um, the fact that it happens 3 times a year, no, sorry, 4 times a year, is kind of part of its downfall too, because it's like it happens too often. It happens every 90 days, and you're just like, okay, well, I'll just wait for the next one. I don't need to go to this one. And it's doubly more so because it's the same 30 to 40 people at every single one. So you're like, I don't even care. I don't know. Do I sound judgmental? Am I too? You guys can call me out if you want. Oh, I wasn't supposed to. Oh, well. Yeah, you mean staying away from 40K. So, if you look at the Strategicon schedule, there's there are GW events that run all weekend long. There's always a GW event running any time of the day. That doesn't mean that there's lots of people playing in them, because they mainly play 40K. So you have that. But frankly, that's still the most active miniature gaming group down there. The other games that you see on there are usually like homegrown demo games, or somebody just looking for a free pass to the con. Right? It's been a while since someone has really kind of hit the con in force. There's nothing like standing by someone that has not had a bath in a Yeah, you have been to Strategicon. There you go. What's up, Spaz? Yeah, that's so far a very insightful comment. All right. That guy's cool. All right. So we're going to prime all these, but I don't know how much actual painting we're going to get done tonight. But they'll be ready for paint tomorrow. I can start painting. It's weird that she's very, that this champion here is definitely very Asian theme in her dress and everything like that. But her dragons they're not Asian style dragons, they're like Western style dragons. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. finally. So you can see I'm doing about a like 80% prime on the gray. All right. Anybody else have any comments on Strategicon? I think you basically summed it all up there, Spaz. I did have half a mind to bring Guild Ball to Strategicon, and I actually tried running one tournament up there. Didn't go so well. So, I don't know. Like I said, the only way that convention would pick up Guild Ball is if a bunch of us all went to play Guild Ball down there. But then the sudden realization of, well, we're not getting new players and we could have done this for free at Comic Quest kicks in. Right? So I guess what we could do, right, is book events at the same time Strategicon is going and go, yeah, let's just actually do that and get people down here around that same time. All right. Let's let the gray dry for a second. Clean out our airbrush. So, no, the plan is I will not be working on the dragons until after the orcs are done. And that's just kind of, I don't know, that's just kind of how these setups have been going. Because the orcs they're fairly simple in terms of their design and their color schemes. Should be pretty quick work to get them done. Nope. And I want the orcs to be kind of on like I want them to be kind of like in a Badlands type setting. Ooh. Just cleaning out some guck in this airbrush. Give me a sec while I scoop out some guck. Alright. Anybody else working on anything right now? Or gearing up for any games or events? I don't know. Yeah, Nelson, it would be cool if we could get you and Jason and Chris is coming, Troy's coming. If we get a few more folks coming to play some Batman, I think that would be kind of cool. Oh, hey, what's up, Andrew? What up, Maine? We should just book them. I know, right? I mean, I do occasionally look into stuff like that. Right? If I wanted to do a one-off, how much would it cost and how much would people blackjack? All right. Let's put that back. And let's get, so I may do white primer, but actually what I'd rather do is white ink. The downside to white ink is sometimes it just doesn't hit the same way that white primer does, but we're gonna do it. So, all right. So white ink. Okay. Ooh. Oh, I'm really running out of this. I don't know how this is gonna shoot. Nobody gets the Futurama reference. The blackjack and hookers? Yeah, that's the Bender reference. I know that. Depends on the venue. This might be the right time to do it, considering how hurt tourism has been. We may be able to get some favorable pricing, right? Right, this coming year may be the right time to do it, to book it. Fulmination 2022. Maybe we do it in a hotel here at Lake Forest. I would kind of like that, because then we could play some pretty serious rounds there. So, yes, I will look into that. Getting some pulsing. It's just due to bubbles in the ink. There we go. All right. All right. I'm gonna go like this. Okay, here we go. I like that this guy has skulls on his, all over him. He's kind of cool. You think organizers eventually get a kickback from sponsors? I don't know. I don't know. We'd have to think that one through. I mean, I think it stands to reason that if you're willing to organize a convention, that it should be worth your while somehow, right? You should be be able to pocket a little bit of money for all your work. I know for a fact that even if you do pocket some of the money, still never going to amount to anything compared to the amount of time you put into organizing a convention. I have a terrible hobby now, but I haven't bought anything yet, so I'm good for now. A little spit there. All right. For a weekend convention with nighttime gaming in a hotel ballroom, it can range from $4,000 or so. I think it's a little, $4,000 to $7,000. That sounds about right. I've seen convention costs that go up to like $15,000 to host a convention. So the quick math, right? So if you had, so if it cost you 4,000, let's just go with the bare minimum. If it cost you 4,000, and your plan was to charge $50 for a weekend pass, which is about the going rate for most of these, right? For 3 days. Yeah, because you do want to do 3 days. You want to do a Friday, because your Friday and your Sunday are not going to be that jam-packed full of events. So to make it worth someone's while, they would want to stay Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So $50 for that ticket at 4K, meaning you have to have, you would have to have 80 attendees. You'd have to have 80 attendees to break even. $80 people buying 3-day, weekend passes. Now you have to consider their expenses, right? So they just $50 for the convention ticket. That's going to be the least of their expenses. Most of their expenses are going to be around hotel, food, and then just expenses that they're going to want to spend money at that convention. Right? So, yeah, I mean, you could do all this stuff, but the amount of work, the amount of time it's going to take up to do that, to get sponsors, to get people willing to find people that want to host booths there, to find people that want to volunteer to host games there. That's really where the all the work goes into. So I don't envy anybody who hosts their own gaming convention, right? But see, Andrew, 5 companies, but they just want to host demo space? No, they would want booths to sell product. They would want booths to sell product, and and then you have to look at, I'm not sure what sort of licensing is involved in you being, the convention organizer for that sort of thing. I know 3 people personally that have hosted conventions. I can ask them these sorts of questions, but one of them tells me that his convention costs to host a 3-day convention was around $15,000, and he did a Kickstarter, and he had sponsors, and he was not able to make his money back. I know, and he saw his attendance was going to be somewhere in the it was like 400 to 500 people attending. That was his goal, right? He didn't make it. He just, yeah, we could ask Ross, but Ross had he had a lot of advantages going in because he was already an insider with these companies, and he was able to get them down. I know that his hotel costs were somewhere in the 10 to 12,000. I think it's like 10 to 12,000 for his hotel costs, and then and he was telling me that he's just barely breaking even. And some years, he wasn't able to break even. So I don't know. It's the thing about hosting a gaming convention is if it was profitable and reliably profitable, then more people would do it. right? It's not. I don't see it as it's not a. It shouldn't be a mystery that these and the amount and the other thing about Ross too. And I'm not. This isn't a criticism. Ross was extreme, and he'll tell you this too. He was extremely fortunate to be surrounded by people who all believed in this and wanted it to happen, and they put in and I was one of those people, by the way. They put in countless hours, just volunteer hours, doing stuff for free for him to make that to make it happen. He was very lucky. He did not have to, he didn't have to shoulder as much of that work as, he may have if he didn't have, and literally dozens of people willing to do things like run administration, set up the website, run ticket sales, help coordinate all the different volunteers and work out vendors and booths and that sort of thing. I watched, you guys may have remembered SoCal SmackDown, right? So I'm friends with Ross, obviously, and I'm friends with Adam, who ran SoCal SmackDown. And he did not have that many friends helping with that convention. But he did have, sponsor friends and that sort of thing. But it was a much harder journey for him to get, 500 people to his convention than it was for Ross to get 1,200 at his. Right? Ross had, Gail running privateer press stuff. She's one of the best press gangers there ever was. He had, he had the guys from Frontline doing the broadside bash, and right before LVO was a thing, they started there at Kingdom Con. So they were able to spin off and make another convention. So he had those guys on the 40K side. On the non-40K privateer miniature side, he had guys like me that were willing to run multiple different gaming systems, different companies, and just willing to work not just the whole weekend, but all of the time leading up to the convention. He had people like me working for him for free. So he had a deep bench of people willing to do stuff, and Adam did not. Adam did not have as many people. Adam still had Gail, and he still had me, but he had a completely different sort of approach to how he ran the convention, and so we didn't end up volunteering to do, the same sort of stuff we did for Ross. It's one of the reasons why I think I was able to, keep such good relationships with all the convention owners, is because they knew as a volunteer, they knew what they were going to get from me. And so, right, so I'm like a commodity. And that's true of any, in my opinion, that's true of any reputable volunteer games host. Because they, for me personally, it's something I take a certain amount of pride in that. I want to, if I'm putting my name onto something like a convention, I want to be sure that they're getting the full show, right? So that's kind of where I'm coming from is do I want to do it? Sure, I want to do it, but I think I want to look at starting with a smaller event and seeing what becomes of it. You know, the Kingdom Cup this last year, or Fulmination, sorry, was well attended, and it appears to be pretty reputable. It's starting to feel like that tournament is a fairly reputable tournament in the Guild Ball world. Does that become something bigger next year? Hopefully, we'll see. Right? Still plan on running it. You get the con name Octacon. Yeah, Octacon actually. Octacon was a. Let's see. Do I have my Octacon badge on me? Let me see if I have it. I used to have it here on my door. Here it is. Okay. I'll just pull it off my door for a second. Okay. We actually did do an Octacon back in the day. It was a weekend-long Malifaux tournament and karaoke jam at my house. And we had about 30 people in attendance. And it was just at my house, you know. This is obviously before kids. My wife went to, she went on to a weekend thing with her girlfriends. And I said, we're going to have a convention at my house. And we called it Octacon. And so here's Octacon. Here's the badges. We actually did badges for people. There, you know, it was free admission, but we had like the barcodes. This is a picture that my wife took of me and Jake. So you guys don't remember Jake from back in the Malifaux days, but me and Jake were the guys that we ran the SoCal Malifaux. We ran the largest Malifaux meta in version 1. We had 200 players. 200 plus players, sorry, I should say. 200 plus players spread out between San Diego and Bakersfield. And we had the cooperation of a dozen henchmen between us from San Diego all the way up to Bakersfield. And so when we did events, you know, SoCal Malifaux events, people would show up like they were big events. But I did Octacon at my place, and we gave people badges. That's how that they got invited. Is they would get a badge, and then their name would be whatever joke name we had for people. This was Jake's was Jakealope. My badge was the big piece of chicken. That's kind of the joke, right? It was based on a Chris Rock joke, right? That you know, the only reward the dad gets at home is he gets the big piece of chicken. So these were the badges. Like I said, this is me and Jake. We were passed out drunk like this, and my wife took this photo of us passed out. But it was one of the coolest things because we like I said, we had Malifaux tables set up at my place, and people were trying to play Malifaux while other people were just sort of drunk and screaming over each other into the karaoke machine. And it just went, it went the whole day and the whole night. And I remember the next morning getting up and just making spam for everybody. But I remember getting up and having to just walk over all the bodies of passed out people in my living room, my kitchen, in my bedroom. There's people passed out on the floor in my bedroom. And I got up and stepped over everybody and started making spam. And that day I introduced like, you know, a dozen white people to the glories of spam and rice when you're hungover. But yeah, that was the coolest thing. I did have a couple complaints from neighbors. We were singing "Oh Sherry" at like 4 a.m. Probably not the best time to break that one out. But we had Octacon, and then and when we also had Krampusnacht. So I actually did this twice at my place. So you had the original Octacon, then we had Krampusnacht, which was the same type of event that we held in the winter, and I had this giant like carved statue of Krampus Um, that was the prize for the whole weekend. You played Malifaux and you got credit. You got credit for singing songs on karaoke and playing games of Malifaux. And and at the end of the weekend, we we awarded that out. We awarded that carved Krampus statue. But yeah, those are what we did, dude. And attempted to do something like that mini Octocon with a mini Wargamer Girl Valhalla. I know. Well, when you become my neighbor, Andrew, we'll do it. I just I unfortunately I can't do it unless my kids were to go to camp or something like that. You know, if my kids went to camp and my wife decided to take off for a weekend, I could do it. But but yeah. Anyways, oh, I forgot to mention. Yeah, that's the last step in the prep. There is to do that gloss varnish, and what that does is that helps because I color block with contrast paints. So if you don't do this with contrast paints, the contrast paints can end up being very blotchy. So I like to give the models a bit of sheen before we get to it. So. All right. Well, I don't. Well, we're gonna just let stuff dry for a bit. You want spam with soup? Yes, you do, Nelson. Me and my kid. Oh, you gotta sleep. All right. Have a good one, Andrew. Thanks. Yeah, we're not gonna be on. Yeah, I gotta get up at 4. We're not gonna be on that much more because mainly it's just waiting for this to dry. But yeah, let's talk Batman. Let's talk Batman for a little bit since the painting portion of the stream, which is just the prep, right? You obviously I need this to dry. I don't want the worst thing you could do. The absolute worst thing you could do after you hit the models with the gloss varnish is to start painting into them before that's fully dry. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna open up. I should have the Batman. The Batman. Where'd it go? No. No. Okay, I think it's this one. Alright, now we go to back to cruise. Okay. So I'm gonna share. We're gonna share this window capture, screen capture, window capture, Explorer. It's one of these. BMG information, BMG app. Which one is it? Is it this one? It's not that one. Let's remove that. Whoops. Remove that. Let's see if I can add it. So window capture. I guess I can do monitor capture. Yeah, let's do monitor capture. Okay. Let's do monitor capture and let's put that here. So we'll just talk a little Batman while we're here. What's the app for BMG? It's this website, BMG app, azurewebsites.net. Let me put that in the chat for you. There you go. Okay, so that's your Bat Builder. So I'm going to go to Crew Builder. Okay. And, oh, hold on a sec. My son needs, 1 sec, guys. All right, so let's have a look through my crews here. I want to talk about. Oh wait, it didn't. Oh, the new Riddler crew, right? I'm planning on playing some Riddler, so I purchased a Riddler crew, but it's coming from Night model, so who knows how long it will take to get here. Let's have a look. Okay, so Riddler crew 342 out of 350, full funding. So let's look at Riddler stats. What's cool is you could go with this Riddler or the classic Riddler. And I can see there's going to be times where I want to run classic Riddler instead of Jim Carrey Riddler. Because the interesting thing about Jim Carrey Riddler is he's immortal. Basically, you can't kill him. You can, but and it sets things back. But I'll explain that in a minute. So that's kind of the new trend in BMG now, is that you have these bosses, you have these leaders that don't permanently die. You can get them removed from the board temporarily, and they come back at a penalty, but they don't ever actually die. All right, willpower 8, 5 endurance. The stats are pretty terrible: 3 attack, 3 defense, 5 plus strength, 8 move, and 3 special. So here's the traits, right? And so if you're playing a Riddler crew, when you put your suspect counters down, you place numeric counters on it. So I'm going to want to find some cool, I want to find some small, and I hope CQ still has these, but I want to find like small bright green dice. Oh, you can't see there. I'll have to do it here. Small bright green dice, so I could put numeric counters on those, right? Because it's important for Riddler's deck. The Conundrum Champion. Target a model within 8 inches and line of sight. Perform an opposed willpower roll. If successful, the target suffers enervating 2. That's pretty nuts if you really want to weaken a model, is you can give it enervating 2. Okay, this is nice hacking. This model may move up to 2 markers within 8 inches, up to 4 inches. When you pair that with the upgrade that I give them, that means I can basically, at the start of the game, I can have 2 markers up to 12 inches away from the deployment zone. That's nice. Intel support. Here's the immortal thing that we were talking about. This model cannot be the target of an attack and does not suffer effects or damage inflicted by traits. So you can't just directly attack him. When an enemy model removes one of your suspects, such as your suspect markers, this model takes a blood damage. When this model would be removed as a casualty, remove all damage from its character card, remove the model from the gaming area. In any subsequent Raise the Plan phase, you may reduce your Audacity markers by 1 during that round, so only 3 Audacity markers, to return this model to play, placing it anywhere on the gaming area. That's pretty damn strong, right? You do lose an Audacity, and you notice he's only has endurance of 5. So what that means is the fifth marker that your opponent removes will temporarily kill this Riddler. Okay. If this model is in play and not knocked out, controlling player gains +1 to take the lead role. So permanent +1 initiative is nice. And then this model can place 2 suspect markers when performing a manipulate action and place them within 6 inches instead of in contact. That's really nice. Okay, Quizmaster. When this model scores an objective card with multiple copies in the deck, you can search the objective deck for another copy of the same card and put it in your hand, then shuffle your deck. That's pretty sweet. Nice little ability there. Wizard of Quiz. when this model places a suspect within 8 inches of an enemy model, if that enemy model can see this model and the suspect, you may look at the top 2 cards in that model controller objective deck, discard one of the cards, and place the other one on top of the deck. So it gives you some hand manipulation against the other player, which is kind of cool. And then finally, the Inspire ability that all leaders have. They just gain, all friendly henchmen gain 1 extra manipulate action. Kind of nice. Okay, so that's Riddler. I give him the level up upgrade, which is nice. So enemy models suffer the slow 2 effect when revealing an enemy suspect marker. I don't even know what slow 2 does. I gotta look that up. Also, at the start of the Raise the Plan phase, of your first Raise the Plan phase, so before turn 1 activations begin, you may place up to 2 friendly suspect markers at least 4 inches away from your deployment zone. So that's anywhere. Anywhere not within 4 inches of your deployment zone. That's a really nice little upgrade, right? And, you know, anytime an enemy model starts revealing any of your suspects, they're going to take slow 2. Pretty nice. Okay. Okay, Kel is a sidekick. And then Kel, and then Echo and Query. So the three quiz ladies, and then I've got 3 more taking the cool guy on the scooter, giant man on a little scooter. Just the model is worth, like right there, that's worth taking. That guy's awesome. Finn O'Farrell is his. Then you take in Double Guns guy, because you got to take Double Guns guy. Because sometimes you do need guns. He and Query are the only ones with guns on the team. And he does come with the rapid fire, which is nice. And the 2 custom SMGs. But it's basically just, you know, you just kind of fight. They're short range, so I almost look at them as defensive weapons. Okay, and Quiz 4 was just this guy. So the super beefcake guys. Where's this? He has this thing is awesome. He has the heavy question mark. It's a blood stun damage, electric, handy, and heavy. It's kind of nice. All right. So anyway, that's a look at the crew, my Riddler crew that I intend to run. Just thought I would include it here just to have something to discuss. Anyway, the models are so cool. Let's go back to crew builder. I'm not gonna. Okay, let's create this crew. Oh, lol, no. Okay. So I want to look at. I want to look at the classic Riddler model, which is this guy right here. Okay. Right. I love this model too, the classic Riddler. Okay, so this guy is the one that you can kill. Willpower 8, endurance 7. So crap stats. So he can go. You can kill him pretty easily. Cool. You found your birds of prey and Batman Who Laughs. Nice. So he also does the numbered suspect markers. He has confusion. This is a nice ability, right? Target a model within 8 inches in line of sight. Perform an opposed willpower. If successful, reduce the target model's attack and defense by 1. Also, the target cannot perform special actions. That's really, really nice. Goad is really nice too. That causes a 4-inch move following a opposed willpower duel. You get the Mastermind for +1. After a model within 8 inches of this model reveals a suspect, you may move one suspect and play up to 4 inches. Kind of nice. This guy, the only issue with classic Riddler, like I said, is his stats are terrible. So you're going to have to work a little extra hard to keep him around. You can actually just Irish can take. He has a bodyguard ability, so you just keep Irish with him, really. And then you guys saw Puzzle Master. He gets to place 2, and then Quiz Master and Wizard of Quiz. Yep, pretty cool. I think I'm going to try out both masters. I think it would make sense for me to have both lists ready depending on who I'm playing against, and if I really want to have these abilities. Confusion and Goad are why you would take this one, just because you get a little bit more we'll say combat effectiveness out of him than the other one. But the other one you get an immortal leader, which is cool. But I don't know. Edward Nigma. Right, in this one you get Conundrum, Champion, and Hacking, so you get a little bit more. Abilities around moving the suspect markers around, whereas that guy's got like active debuffs. Right, and then you also have. Let's go that. Okay. You also have Kel, who's just these models are so cool. I love the green spandex crew. She does have the bipolar thing, which is a little annoying. I know I'm going to fail that a lot. Demotivate and Disarray are really nice. Disarray is really nice because you just you can move the Audacity marker off of an enemy model onto another model. And then Trickster means she can take an Audacity model, an Audacity marker from another friendly model, which is cool. So Kel is really cool. Echo and Query are really cool. But man, their stats. Oof. Riddler crew gonna get wrecked pretty hard. I like these Riddles Addict. Once per round, this model can reveal enemy markers without spending an action. Pretty sweet. She also makes it impossible to reveal markers that are within friendly markers that are within 2 inches of her. And this is the one. Echo doesn't really fight. She just doesn't. She's really there for sustained defense. So you can stick her in. Like if she gets jumped in melee, she can protect herself, but she can't really fight. She's not really going to take anything out. Whereas Query actually has a machine gun, so that's cool. And so the competitive ability gives them both +1 to attack, defense, and willpower, which is kind of nice. They both have acrobat, which is nice. So they're not that fast. They still only move 9. And then the persuasive thing is kind of cool. It can force a model to activate. Right? And then let's look at her weapon. So she has the LMG, which is nice. Rate of fire 2 ammo. Pretty cool. All right. Well, I guess with that, guys, it is 10:30, so I think we're gonna call it here. Let me go ahead and remove this. Whoa. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any more questions, comments, or threats. Other than that, I think we're gonna call it for the night. I really can't start painting these things at least until tomorrow, so I'll start working on that ore crew. Other than that, want everyone to have a good night, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for watching.